Morning, everybody. It's another candle yet again. I'm going to tell you guys about the other dream I had. This one I don't think was specifically a witchcraft dream. So in this dream, we were in Newport, but instead of being a small town, neighborhoods and such like that. Instead, it was like a large industrial town. It wasn't like huge, but it was just, there was a lot of taller buildings, office buildings, warehouses, such like that. And in my dream, I was in one of these office buildings at the first part of it. I don't really know what we were doing there. Me, my wife, and my son. I don't really know what we were doing there. Just kind of like wandering around, checking the place out, I guess. And my mom ends up coming to pick us up. She picks us up, and we end up going up to our old house up in Green Acres, which is a golf course neighborhood kind of place, real fancy neighborhood. And it was a Habitat for Humanity house. Well, we get up there and we're kind of just talking about plants and such like that. And when I'm standing out in the yard, the interesting part is this house, it was like midway up a hill. And the hill was covered with trees and stuff like that. Like in reality, that's what it looks like. In my dream, however, it was mostly barren of trees. There wasn't any trees blocking the line of sight or anything like that. And the house seemed to be directly on top of the hill. And it was much higher. It looked like it was cut off right afterwards. Interestingly enough, from on top of that hill, just standing out in the front yard, it was like everything out from there was flat, just a flat plain. I could see Sevierville off in the distance. I could see Knoxville, and I believe, another town past that one. And as we were standing out there talking about flowers, I remember seeing a bright flash. When I looked over, that town that was past Knoxville had a nuclear bomb hit it. And the thing is these look like smaller nuclear devices, than even like the Hiroshima bomb, like only big enough to take out one city, and that's it. And if you think about it, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for a nation to send just 20 nukes to strategic positions at the United States, because we have missile defense systems, a lot. And they will shoot them down before they even get to American soil. But on the other hand, what if you used a couple of hundred smaller nuclear devices? That might be more effective. And so, in this dream, like I said, I saw the one explode past Knoxville. And then I saw one hit Knoxville. And moments later, another one hit Sevierville. And, by the time that one hit, I was like, oh man, we got to get inside quick. Now, normally, if you go inside of a house, it's not really going to protect you against a nuclear blast. And as far as I can remember, there wasn't any, if one hit the Newport area, it wasn't exactly in Newport. It looked like it was on the outskirts of it. really know what that would be about. However, we get inside the house and we see that last one go off, and I never noticed any kind of a heat surge that you normally see off of it. But I do remember seeing a, how would you put it, like a blast of wind coming off of it. And this blast of wind comes off and blows across the house, like you can hear it shaking the house. And then it stops. Everything goes kind of quiet. I remember kind of wondering, like, okay, it was obviously a nuclear blast. Why wasn't it so damaging? And I still don't really have an answer to that. But what I do remember is that as it went off, a couple of people from around where our house was there came and were looking for shelter. And so we were like, yeah, come on. We're trying to survive this too. Come on. And interestingly enough, some of the people if you're facing the front part of the house to the left, we used to have a neighbor there, wonderful older lady. But instead, there was like, it was like a couple of Hispanic people. I want to say like 4 Hispanic people, and they had like a rice farm, like what you would see in Asia in rice farms. And like I said, they came over and they were like, hey, we need shelter. Our building's not going to make it. So we let them in. And if I remember right, there was like some other person, it may have been like a neighbor or something like that, also came in the house. And we sat there and we waited, for just a little bit to see if anything was going to happen, really. And I remember it was almost like a time lapse was going by really fast or something. I remember looking out the back door, and there was a pig, and like it wasn't a fully sized pig. It was also larger than a mini pig. So I guess it was like in between those two sizes. And I remember it was obviously, it seemed uncomfortable and scared. And I remember looking out into the yard, and a deer walked into the yard. This deer had like patches of fur that looked like it was like falling off, and like some open sores on its skin. And then a little bit more time passed, and I saw a rabbit, a black rabbit, solid black, come hopping into the yard. Now, when I say hopping, I mean it was hopping on its back legs. It was a very, very large rabbit. Like it was nearly the height that the deer stood at. I remember it had ears that drooped all the way to the ground and like drug across the ground. And I remember that it was very fat, like engorgingly fat. Like it had rolls hanging off of its neck and stomach and its back and the back of its neck. And I remember seeing these things and being like, wow, this is really weird. Because like I said, it almost seemed like a time lapse was going by real quick, but I was viewing everything in normal time. And I was just like, wow, this is very different. So then I remember it was almost like, not like it was, but it started snowing in my dream. And, You know, like most people would know, normally fallout takes anywhere from like 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes it can take longer than that before it starts coming back down, and it's usually dust. This was snow for some reason. I remember seeing that and being like, oh man, we got to start sealing up the windows. It's starting to fall back down. So we go get a bunch of tape and, you know, like boards and stuff like that, and start, you know, boarding and taping up places in the windows and stuff like that. I remember as we were doing it, there was a spot, and we used to have these 2 large pane windows for the living room. And I remember there was a spot in the dead center of those windows that for some reason wasn't sealed. And all of a sudden it started letting in snow. And I remember telling him, I was like, guys, we got to get this thing sealed up. Just let me do it. You know, we don't need 3 or 4 people getting up here getting irradiated. Just let me do it. And so I got the tape, the nails, and the board. I went up there and I was going to start working on it. And I remember as I was working on it, there was pieces of that snow that was getting on me, getting in my nose, getting in my mouth. I remember tasting it, and the snow, whenever it would melt, was like this really, really bitter, sourish in a way taste. And I remember in my dream, all of a sudden, it got very, very hard for me to breathe. I was starting to have trouble breathing, and I remember finishing up the window and then kind of just falling back on the floor. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the end of the dream. So now with this dream, I remember a lot of it, so I assume that there's some kind of significance to it. In general, I don't remember a whole lot of my dreams, but then all of a sudden, whenever God has been starting to send me these dreams, I remember them. And even weeks past whenever I had them, I remember these dreams. I remember like all the small things that happen, conversations that happen, specific details and stuff like that. I remember them. So, and like I said, in my normal dreams I have, I'll wake up and it's gone. You know, and usually they're kind of whimsical and really wild and different. There's like no sense to it, I guess I could say. So I figured that I had some reason I needed to share this. I know my mom said that she had a type of dream I think it was a couple months back, maybe a year back, where something pretty similar happened. She said that was like a confirmation. And I mean, that's cool. Like I said, I don't know personally. I don't know what it's about. It very well could just be a confirmational dream. And I promise I'm not trying to scare anybody into thinking a nuclear holocaust is going to happen. I don't know. I'm just telling you a dream that I had. But, I don't know. I just figured I'd share this with you guys. I already told you earlier before that I would, so I figured, I'm just going to go ahead and do it today. If you guys like the video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. If you enjoy seeing my videos and you want to be able to see more, hit the bell, all the bells and whistles. And as I always say, leave a comment down in the comment section if there's anything that you need prayed for, prayed over. There are people who watch these videos that'll absolutely be praying for you. And I will be too. If you have any idea what this is, throw it down in the comment sections. God reveals things to us all differently at separate times. That way we all have different pieces of the puzzle, and He forces us to come together. Well, I love you guys. I hope y'all have a great day. I hope God blesses you today and everybody's safe out in the rain. I know it kind of stopped whenever I got out to town, but apparently it was raining earlier. It might still be in other places. And I don't know. I just hope y'all have a fantastic day.